I started from a humble home. I wouldn't say in an obscure town, but a town I'm proud of called Okana. I was born and bred in Enugu. My father was working in Enugu. And St. Patrick's Parish was my parish. When I was young, for whatever reason, I got attracted to things that are sacred, especially the priesthood, and which made me join the Massava Council. Everybody knows me there. And the first bishop, Aneke, I served him. The next, when he was the bishop, Aneke was the curate. I was serving them. And I got inspired by what I saw. And I started nursing, nurturing the idea of getting myself to priesthood. That's what happened. And from there, I got admitted to junior seminary, All Hallows. It was the only junior seminary available then. And then we moved through. It was at the junior seminary again I met one Father Dunaho, subsequently Bishop Okoye. He wasn't the bishop then, but he was the rector before he became the Bishop of Port Harcourt, who helped to shape me. And I always remain grateful to him. And we got from there to Bigard Memorial Seminary, where I met so lot of priests, both in theology and philosophy. And more of them, most of them were Irish, but you remember after the war, they had gone. So I count myself privileged to have gone through so many hands, both nationally and internationally, in my journey to the priesthood. And what is typical about this journey, and connecting it with what is happening now, is that I belong to that set that saw war while we were on the journey. And again, the same set has seen another brand of war at the tail end of the journey, coronavirus. So we are used to going through rough edges. And because of that, the journey was not a Mediterranean cruise at all, by no means. It was difficult. If you recall how we will finish our lectures at Umuawa when Bigard was relocated because of this. We start at lectures, we start business 4 a.m. to finish mass, finish lectures, and go to the bush because of air raid. It was horrible. When it became intolerable, potentially dangerous for lives of seminarians, then the town sent us to Umuawa. And that's where we received our minor orders. These days, you are getting a little bit of it. We got the full compliments from Toncho here. But what is interesting is that we received this at night because of we couldn't get it during the day, and we didn't have anybody coming like your town coming. So we took it as our lot. Well, we have problems, prospects, privileges. I think we have privileges because soon after the war, the move to get university affiliated to the Pontifical Urban University got matured during our time, in our final year. And so that's another privilege. Despite all these sufferings, God is rewarding us that way. And our set was the first to do the BD. For the first time in my life, I started hearing about summa cum laude probatus and cum laude. So I did whatever I could do along that. But it happened that the authorities saw my performance as spectacular and decided that I'm going to give the first valedictory speech, which I did. Some of these are published. Maybe people will have opportunity to see them. I gave what they consider one of the best valedictory speech Big had ever witnessed. And you know it was East Central State. There was no Imo State, no Anambra State. So all who is who in Nigeria attended that, including Cardinal Arins and so on. So we finished the Bigad and left. So I found myself at Ogun as a curator to Father Buckley. My journey is a kind of, I don't know, it was not planned, maybe God. I hardly stayed more than a year or two in any place. So once I was posted as a curate, that's what we call it then. You know, we use the term now, vicar. There was no such term then. It was a curate, okay. I served as a curate under him. And within 3 months, I was asked to go to Soka to head a seminary that is still about to begin. The building had not been completed. It was supposed to be Sacred Heart student. So by the time I got there, 6 months, within 6 months, they had completed the building. And then with the first group, I left. We left for students. So, but what I'm saying is that it was just not up to 6 months, as a young priest, I was made the rector, Sacred Heart Seminary, the premier rector. And when I went there, it is history. It was a bush, everything. Our next neighbor was rats, snakes. We were fighting for supremacy. We eventually beat them. And then, so it was very cold, and people were not finding life easy. But for the fact that we are taking that journey, I mean, and people, now I'm becoming a formator. I become very proud. It didn't last a year. Now I was sent to Sacred Heart 1 as a young priest, which never happened in history. That parish was in charge of all who is who. One was more famous than even Sacred, Holy Ghost. And so I don't know what made me a parish priest of Sacred Heart. And there I became the controller of operation. You wouldn't believe that people from Bigad were under me. They were coming from Bigad to help me, humble me. Late Bishop Obiefuna was coming to help. Aneke was coming. Yes, and Father Anozie that left. Okere. I had all the compliments of priests that have made it. So it didn't last. Just about 1 year. As a parish priest of Sacred Heart, I was going to the Holy Ghost to collect hosts one evening. Bishop Okoye saw me and called me. Yes, you did very well, and everybody's praising you. We have decided, the bishop, that we use you as a test case to go with PD to see if the university will accept this. So go there. And when you get there, the sky is your limit. If you know Bishop Okoye, he doesn't believe in half measure. That's just like that. I was going to collect hosts and then got informed. So told me, when you get there, you see Monsignor Ezanya. He was a Monsignor there, and he was the head of Department of Religion, UNM. I went, and then At the end of the day, it was difficult. It was a battle. They were a bit suspicious about the BD. And to cut a long story short, they eventually managed to allow me join my group, postgraduate diploma. And it was just three weeks before the exam, because while they were tossing whether they should universities or not, they are already having lectures. So I joined them, not up to a month, there was exam. But whatever, God was wonderful. In that exam, I came first. I don't know what I wrote, but I came first, which now attracted the attention of the professors in the faculty.
I've known Prof for quite some years. The first time we met actually was when I was still a student in BGAD. 2005 was that, because that was my second year theology, my second year in theology. And he came for the annual canonical retreat we normally have in the BGAD. And those who were in the BGAD then, or those who were around Enugu and know what was going on in the seminary, knew that we had a situation in the seminary at that time. Formation was a little bit having some stress, some strain, the normal thing, human elements, coming into pains, and there were actually some issues that was affecting our formation adversely at that time. And for people like us who had just 2 years away to ordination to the priesthood, it was such a very trying time for us, because there are things you experience within the course of your formation, and you begin to ask yourself some questions, whether you're actually making the right decision, going ahead, and all that. So it wasn't actually a very good time for us. But incidentally, that happened to be the time that Professor Akubue was chosen to come and moderate our canonical retreat. And yes, I know I've met him sometime when we were at St. John Cross Seminary, in Suka. He came just once to celebrate Mass for us one of the days, but we never really came in contact because we were very little children that time. So, but I know about this university lecturer who came from UNN, and he said his father Akubue, and he came to celebrate Mass for us, and I could still remember that. So when he came again, I haven't told Prof this. That was actually the first time I saw you. I was hearing the name, but I never met you. It was at St. John's when you came on one occasion to celebrate Mass for us, and I met you. I saw you for the first time. So when eventually you came to BGAD, that 2005 for our canonical retreat, I remembered this was the priest that came. Yeah, St. John's. So eventually you came for that retreat. So he came for that retreat, and it became more than a retreat for us. Canonical retreat is something that takes place, happens every year. As if God really planned it, because his coming, changed the course of things in the BGAD, at that particular point in time. The way he spoke to the student, the way he facilitated the retreat, and how the retreat impacted, positively on the life of the seminary, especially given that very moment of crisis. Because it wasn't just within the students, it was in the rank and file of the formators. And when the crack is from the hair, you know what it means. When two elephants fight, the cliche is the grass that suffers. So it was telling on our formation and everything, and Prof became the proverbial, or the scriptural Daniel that came to judgment, and in a very, very spectacular manner. It wasn't just like dabbling into it, but from his interaction with us, he got to know actually that was a problem. Things are not really the way it should be. He has been a seminary rector himself, so he understands. I think that experience helped him to understand. That's what I believe. Yeah. The way you approach this show, that your experience actually, came into play in the way you handled that situation.
I think this journey was something blessed by God. I didn't plan for anything, but things keep happening. Again, one thing I noticed about my journey, I have never for once celebrated my birthday. I have never for once celebrated any, and things keep happening. When it came to Silver Jubilee, somebody reminded me before we started planning this. And so I'm not crazy about some of this. This is I'm being frank to you. Even this Golden Jubilee, I was telling people that no, we want to do it because of the nature of things. We are 21 ordained, only about 8 or 9 are now. How can I be celebrating? 2, look at what has happened with the condition of people. The economy is so bad. So why don't I make it a low profile? So some people say, no, God who kept you alive for 50 years, you must thank him. God has his own timetable for everybody. Much as some people have died and things like that, okay. But you are alive, why don't you? So that was when I changed my mind. And so I didn't go to the university to become a professor. But when I got there, we were now challenged by what they call PP, not parish priest, publish or perish. So it now challenged us, and I started publishing without knowing where it will land me. I wasn't particularly interested, but then the first time I put my appraisal papers, I was surprised that they were considering me for a double jump to senior lecturer, that it remained at 2 or 3 articles. That's when I knew I was making an impact academically. So the next move, straight to professor. And I became a professor before most of the lecturers who taught me. So I think part of the reason is my advice to younger ones, hard work. Any conference that was announced, I went to Abuja, I went to Ilorin, I went to Lagos. We had a group we called KK Group. When I became a dean, we maximized that. And so on. So I didn't know that this has a way of paying off. So I ended up publishing about 61 articles in national and international. This is the untold story about me. People don't know. It may come out in some of the publications. People will now see what exactly. And I was able to publish 2 books that were textbooks in universities. They were using it in Ibadan and so on. One in religion methodology, where I belong. One in administration, where I became an expert. So I think, above all, if you watch, you will notice that my energy level has not hardly changed from what it used to be 20 years ago. But I know that my body chemistry is going transformation. And that most of my classmates are not enjoying the kind of health I'm enjoying. And I don't know, I can't explain it. All I know is that I was not taking my health lying down. You know, after that retreat, only one person, look, they all expressed satisfaction for the way excellence was recycled. There's no doubt about it. But only one person came to me to personally show that he was impressed. That's him. He has forgotten that he even took my address and came to Nsukka.
But I was coming to that.
Hey.
I was coming to that. Because I didn't forget. Okay. So I took his address and I said I'm going to meet him up close and personal. He was still in service. He was still a professor at Nsukka. He was the dean.
Yes,
faculty of education.
The faculty
of education then. Yes, he was still serving as the dean and serving at Nsukka. So I took his address and found my way once the school and we vacated. I I found my way to his house, and we had some time. I think I spent a night or 2 nights. About 2 years.
2 days.
Yes, I spent 2 nights. Yes, of course, with him, interacting with him and all that. And you see, his disposition at receiving me, made me much more relaxed. I could boldly ask him questions about the university, the work he's doing, and all that. So we got to know more. That visit actually struck that relationship. That's how the whole relationship started. So that's it, and they continued.
Was it not at that visit you made a request for your first mass?
It was at that. It was at that visit. I'm forgetting things. So it was during that that visit that I told him that it would be an honor for me to have him preach during my ordination. Yes, my first mass, and just without much ado, he obliged and said, "Okay, it's something I would love to do."
I am very selective of what I eat. So if you come to visit me, be surprised or be disappointed. I've gone native, no more synthetic food. So, but these things have a way, because I now learned from one professor who was gave us a lecture about food as well. Told us that God has a timetable for us, that we are locked in this part of the world. If mango comes, eat it. If udala comes, eat it. If it is, he said, don't you see how it is rained? Pawpaw, finish everything you can do about pawpaw and so on. And I followed that timetable. And I did, I discovered that my mother, who never went to school, who didn't know anything about health and so on, they were patronizing this village food. And they look very healthy. So right now, I've gone back to that. If you come now, I will give you, don't expect this spicy food. But I think, again, it will be a lesson to all of us, that sometimes we abandon what we have, we go for what will even destroy our health. Some of us live in India, so that is it. So I think in general, why I'm telling this in connection with my health. Yes. And I love music. All along. You won't believe that my friend was Michael Jaga. He taught me to play guitar. When we look at it now, you start thinking with your legs. But I've abandoned this thing. Number 2, at All Hallows, I'm at evening studies at 4 or so, between 4:35. People rush to the field, in the ball, basketball. The only interest I picked was the organ. So, and then we others. So, I better now, Wakambo the first. So, I started playing organ, and that paid off. Maybe people don't know. If you ask elderly priests, they will tell you. I'm the expert they had. Bishop Unebu, organ. I think they had the Aneke also. I was being sought for. If I enter organ now, you will be amazed. Or they can mom would do now. Only free tata, but because so only the younger priests don't know about this. When I've forgotten this, they have most of them have died. From Radio Nigeria, communication should be happy to hear this. I've forgotten their names now. They were coming to Bigard to record this and then play it. And no one put the organic companies. So and I try American visa. But I go. So I will play and play, and I was able to play Handel Messiah from cover to cover without looking at the book. I had that gift. So I read a chorus and so on. So I think the giftedness was diverse, but I usually don't make noise about some of these skills and competencies.
You contributed very immensely. Sometimes people do such things without even knowing how they have impacted on people, but he really did.
I think
he did.
my contact with you, or you're coming to know me, not just meeting me, but encountering me.
Yes.
Reinforced your drive to the priesthood.
Yes.
It may not have come at the beginning.
Yes.
That's the point I want to make.
Yes.
But in the process, it's ongoing formation.
Yeah.
He may have had what attracted him to the priesthood, like you. Everybody has his own.
Yes.
But how was it sustained, which is very important.
Yes.
That experience he had reinforced his intention, and it makes a lot of difference. So, the journey was, how will I put it? At a stage, it was rough. At a stage, it became smooth, and that's life. So, that's the much I can say for now.
Prof is in his 76th year as a person. He's a university professor, of that level. And 14 years a priest, he's celebrating his 50th. So he's 76 and 45. So you see the gap. Monsignor, son of the blessed memory, Prof, if you will remember.
Yes.
Each time he sees me with Professor Akubue, will always say, I don't understand this relationship between Professor Akubue and Father Benjamin Achi, because the gap is too wide by all standards. This person is old enough to be the father of this man. The gap in the priesthood is so wide. Prof was ordained a year before Monsignor, also of blessed memory. Yes, he actually helped in preparing for his ordination. So he keeps wondering how we can be so, so friends, and when he sees me talking with Prof, we talk as if we are just contemporaries. It is one thing I find in Prof that I find so fascinating. You see him talking with a newly ordained, and you see him talking with someone who is 50 years in the priesthood like himself, and you don't find the difference. Very young at heart, very, young in his approach to things, in his approach to everything. It surprises me. Prof is 76, but he's so ICT savvy that I compete with Prof when it comes to matters of ICT. Talk of the latest of any kind of technology, be it telephones or laptops or gadgets and all that. Before you mention them, Prof already knows them.
Chairman of Under
the chairman of Under 17. And you just notice, you look at him, and you see that he's not just, he will not just say it. He means every bit of it. Every word of it, from the way he interacts, the way he deals, he relates with people, across board. It's quite impressive, and it's something I pray God for the grace to learn. Because, sometimes, we human beings, especially in this part of the world, once we attain certain heights, we begin to feel we can no longer relate with certain group of people.
Yes.
The other thing I just mentioned is that perseverance. That's, once he sets his mind at a goal, he keeps pursuing it and sees it to a logical conclusion. So, even up to now, he said the energy has not changed, and it is true. When he said that, I nodded in affirmation. It hasn't changed.